Now live in the group. Hopefully someone will tell me that I'm live and we'll be able to confirm that, no problem at all. Awesome. So I can see that a few of you are coming into the Zoom room, which is awesome. Super excited to have you along. So if you are coming into the Zoom room, if you can just mute your phone in case, like us, you've got lots of background noise. Well, I think I've got lots of background noise. I've just got them upstairs hidden away. So super excited today to do something a bit fun. I don't know how everyone else is feeling, but sometimes lockdown gets a bit heavy and we talk about all the serious stuff in business. And while this is serious stuff, I think it feels a little bit more light and a bit more playful, and it certainly has made a difference to my life. So super excited to introduce the lovely Caitlin Taylor from Chasing Kate. Awesome to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Very excited. Yeah. And again, apologies for small children running in if that happens, because it
exactly. There's plenty of people in here with children, so they're totally going to understand that whole game if that happens.
Whole juggle.
Go along there. Yeah. So I'm still admitting people. So basically I asked Caitlin along to, so I can't refer to you as your Instagram label. That just feels weird. Weird. Everyone can find you now.
Yeah.
I asked Kate along because this time last year, just about, I reached out to Kate and we did a stylist session for me, which was for me personally, but I have been really fascinated by the shift for me in confidence, how aligned, how I show up physically now is with my personal brand, how that's impacted just all facets of my business. And I wanted to really come along and have Kate talk to you all, because I think when you've got this opportunity right now, because you're stuck in your homes, to have a look at your wardrobes, and maybe I know a couple have mentioned that, weekend job's going to be to declutter that wardrobe. So one is that some of you might be thinking about doing that. Two, you might like some help, and Kate can come virtually into your world and help you out with that, which is fantastic. And three, because I think that when we're feeling good, we do more and we get more done and we have better outcomes. And in lockdown, if you're not getting up and feeling good, putting on some good clothes and some makeup and getting dressed and ready for the day makes a big difference. So how does that sound?
Yeah, 100%. I think Sarah kind of nailed all of the things. So I guess for me, a little bit about me, my background. I am a personal stylist and a style coach. So I use the term coach because I want to give you guys, my clients, the tools to keep doing this yourself. So I'm not going to be sitting in your wardrobe all day, every day, telling you what to wear and dressing you just for special occasions. My job is to actually show you how to have the confidence to do it yourself by using key filters and some tools. So that's hence the term style coach. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. So I started when I was 7. So I've seen the fashion industry inside out, from, production to PR to marketing to all those things. So I know how it works. I know how clothes work. I know how businesses work. And I also have a degree in psychology. So for me, tying the two in, and it was funny because when I worked in retail once, someone said to me, "You have a degree in psychology, darling. Why are you in fashion?" And I'm like, have you met women? It's just the most useful tool for me is having that kind of psychological understanding and background. And, Sarah can kind of attest to this, is everything I do is very deliberate. So the way that I ask questions, the way I frame things, the way that I talk might seem off the cuff and it might seem kind of just real jovial, but it's very, very deliberate. And everything I do is positively focused. So what I will not do, and I think Sarah and I kind of mentioned this in a conversation previously, is I will never tell you what not to wear. So I'll never say to you, you cannot wear that. I will never say, oh, so-and-so wore that. I hate the who wore it betters. Like, that to me is pitting people against each other. Like, why can't we all embrace our individuality and our own style? So I'll never kind of say, oh, so-and-so wore it better. So for me, it's all about, and I'll never encourage you to think about your body in a negative way. So for me, it's always thinking about your body in a positive way. So what are the parts of your body you're the most confident about? What are the parts of your body you want to show off? What are the parts of your body that you like? It's not, what are we trying to hide? So for me, there's so much power in the psychology of style. And that's kind of, I guess, what drives me is that I want to give women mostly, like, and as Sarah will attest, I also look after men. But I want to give people a tool to be more confident. And for me, that tool is style. And it's not fashion. It's not clothes, it's style. So being really, really sure of your own unique personal style. And I'll talk you guys through a little bit later kind of how we get to that. But that for me is really, really important. So once, like you said, once you have that confidence in who you are, basically in a nutshell, if I can take the pressure off and basically make it easier for you to get up, get dressed and show up and be good at what you are good at doing without having to stress about what you're wearing every day, then my job is done. My job is to take that pain point away in the morning by making it really clear and easy for you to wear outfits that represent who you are as a person, basically in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I love that. I don't know. I certainly, the number of times I've said, Johnny's like, why aren't you ready yet? And I'm like, I've got nothing to wear. And you can see I'm looking at my wardrobe going, really? Really? Like, there is so much in there. And I'm like, I have nothing to wear. What I'm really saying is I have nothing I feel comfortable in, and I have nothing I feel good in.
Or nothing, I have nothing that represents who I am.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a big thing.
And I know that for me, as I've kind of gone through this journey of being in business and really showing up really in who I am, that journey of shedding that I'm not enough and I'm not worthy, because when we go through business, all of that stuff shows up like so strongly. One of those things I did to show up in that belief that I wasn't worthy, I wasn't enough, was I hid who I was. So I wore a lot of black. I layered black on black, and not in a powerful, strong way, but in a, if I wear this, you won't see me. Yeah.
And also I'm going to assimilate. So I'm not going to stand out. I'm not going to make a stir. I'm not going to actually cause a ruckus. I'm actually going to sit back. I'm just going to sit here and hope somebody notices me when they need to, as opposed to, this is me, this is who I am. And the thing is, we'll talk about this before as well, you and I off live, black can be really powerful and it can be really strong and chic. And if you want to own that space, absolutely. But it's how you use it. It's how you use loose clothes. It's how you use comfortable clothes. It's the intention behind them that's really, really important. So it's doing everything with intention, but a positive intention. So doing it to show up and to be you and to represent who you are, I think is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was where we started with. When I met you, I was like, right, I had all my clothes out because I went down and saw Kate in Auckland. And so she was like, really, you can bring your whole wardrobe? I was like, I don't have that much stuff. It's like literally
like 4 suitcases. It was brill. I walked into an Airbnb and there's like just like clothes. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so I'd laid them all out and I was like, right, let's get into it. And she's like, well, come and sit, we're gonna have a chat first. I was like, no, we're gonna get rid of the clothes. Like, what you want to talk to me? No, let's get rid of some clothes.
Yeah. And I think that's a really important point, is that like I literally spend, even when I'm doing a wardrobe audit, probably the first half an hour to 45 minutes is actually me just chatting with my client and actually understanding more about where they're at. So some people have zero body hang-ups and they're all just like, I'm just bored with my clothes. Other people are like, oh my God, I've had 3 children in 5 years. I have no idea what my body's doing. I have no idea what the fashion's doing. Some people have been through I've had people who've lost weight, put on weight, been through a divorce. Like there's kind of something that's triggered them almost. There's some sort of life change that's made people go, okay, I need to do this now. So for me, it's actually getting to the bottom of what that is and finding out where that person is sitting kind of in their headspace. Because if they're really struggling with their body image, then there's a lot kind of as a gently approach. And it's kind of really helping them understand that everybody is beautiful and it's unique and you are allowed to be on a journey. So it's not about and so many people have said to me, when I lose that 5 kilos, I'll come see you. And it's like, but don't wait, because you might never, and that's completely okay. But also I can make you feel good about yourself now by wearing the right clothes that really reflect who you are inside. So that kind of the saying that I use is personal style is an external expression of inner confidence. So basically it's showing people who you are on the outside. Like I love that. And I love that kind of, who do I get to be today? Like what can I wear to show people who I am today? I love that power. And what I want to do is get my clients to that point as well. And I think it's that chat. It's really kind of getting to know them, getting to understand where they're coming from, what they struggle with. and whether that's just finding clothes to fit them. A lot of my clients just actually don't know what their personal style is. And that can, and it was interesting working with you, Sarah, because I kind of feel like you were in that space, but the more we talked, you were like, okay, actually, I need to know what my personal brand is, because like me, you have a business associated with your name. So you are your business, and so I think that, everything about, very much like me, your branding reflects who you are and what you're about, and it was funny because your branding was, but your clothes weren't.
Exactly.
And I think it's really important, particularly if you have a business that is you, to have that all aligned, because if you have this fabulous, incredible branding and all this incredible persona online, on your website, on your socials, and then you rock up to a meeting and you're in like a cardigan and jeans and trainers, it's like,
Yeah.
Like the people that you're dealing with are like, there's a mismatch, right?
Yeah.
So living your personal brand, whether that's as a business or not, I think is super important. And that's where, again, we'll talk a little bit later about style personality. For me, style personality goes across everything. It goes across your togs, your undies, your workout gear, your everyday clothes, right through to business attire and formal wear as well. But I think even if you don't have a personal brand, you still do. So as a business owner or someone in business, you are still dealing with clients and you still have a name associated to your business. So you might be the CEO, you might be your director, you might be, high up in your business. Your personal appearance still reflects on your business, and I think that often I'll say to clients, and today's a perfect example, I could have been sitting here in my jammies telling you exactly the same thing, but I was excited to get up and get dressed. I had a reason, but also what it's doing is for me, it's about respecting you guys. It's actually about saying, I think you guys are important enough for me to put in effort to show up, dressed up, looking good, being who I am, and, in clothes rather than just like sitting here in my jammies. So I think it's important that don't disassociate your business from your personal style. I think if you are a woman in business particularly, I think that you are allowed to have a really strong sense of style and it reflect on your business. So I think that there's definitely a correlation there.
And I think this is really interesting because I think a lot of people, when they get out into business, they are an accountant who happens to have their own business, or an ECE teacher who happens to now own the business, or a website developer that now owns the business, right? And so getting that shift from I'm showing up on what's comfortable for me to do the thing. Kate's turned her camera on and is smiling at me, and that she's an ECE teacher. And so she would show up on our calls and she was in a hoodie and she was comfy, and it was what she would go to school and teach in because the paint would get on it. And I don't know, lots of small children. I even have one, so it makes it easier. So yeah, a little bit of that.
Oh, mate, I hear you. 3 under 5. I hear you.
Yeah. And I was like, well, but you're the business owner. She's like, no, I'm an ECE teacher. I'm like, no. Yes, you can still teach. Yes, you're still qualified to do that, but you actually own the business and you need to start showing up like that. So what does Kate, the business owner, wear? And that shift was massive for her, even just with me asking that question with zero style ability. Scarlett always says to me in the morning, did you pick that outfit? Mummy, I said, no, Kate picks all my outfits. I don't pick anything anymore. That was really powerful in that shift and the way that she was showing up, not just for herself, but for her team, for the parents, for everyone. She can still be a great ECE teacher in that outfit, but she feels more like her, standing in her power.
Correct. And also my job, say if Kate came to me, would be to actually then listen to her about what her personal style is, what her lifestyle is, what her budget is, what her needs are, and to create outfits around that. I'm not going to make everybody look like me. And you'll notice that Sarah and I are both wearing bright color. We happen to have quite a similar style, and that's just coincidence. That's actually not, and we're in the same color palette. So we would wear very similar colors. But I'm not going to make all my clients look like me. My job is to listen to you and your needs. And actually a really good example is I've actually looked after Sarah's sister as well. And Sarah's sister has a different style than Sarah. She's a lot more It's kind of more edgy and it's kind of more neutral. And there's still that feminine element, but Lisa wouldn't wear as much bright color as Sarah. So it's actually taking everybody's own needs and then turning that into outfits that work for you. So Kate, what it would be was still, if you had to go into the classroom on a particular day, you would still have outfits that would be appropriate for that, i.e. machine washable, don't need to iron them, so easy care, but they would still be that little bit more elevated because you are the business owner. So it's actually, so my job is to take your needs and then like kind of, I call it like a jigsaw puzzle. So I get all the pieces together and I go, and then I present you with like, okay, here is the solution. And I think that's it. It's about showing up in a way that reflects you in your business, whatever that is. So there isn't a one size fits all. It's not about, okay, you're in business, therefore you have to wear a blazer and black pants to work every day. It's like, okay, let's look at the level of professionalism you need to have. So say you are a lawyer or you're an accountant and you want to look more professional, there are certainly ways to do that but still actually bringing your own personal style into it. So if you have a very feminine personal style, it might be looking at blazers in different colors. It might be wearing beautiful blouses underneath them. It might be wearing them with skirts. So there's definitely ways to match up the element, the level of professionalism that you need to have versus actually still showcasing your personal style.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that you mentioned Lisa, because Lisa's quite different from me. She's blonde for starters. But and I have three sisters, and I know you've seen Lisa, but you've also seen my mum, who's 63, 64. That's a terrible.
60th, wasn't it? Yeah.
So for Mum's 60th, we gave as a family, it was Lisa's idea, a styling session with you. And honestly, the difference in Mum was massive in terms of you going through this whole process. And we even did it with Johnny as well. So because after I did it, Johnny was like, oh, well, I want that. And also because he's 6'5" and very difficult to shop for because he's long and lean. So Kate's been not just someone that I'll use, like she's so good, I recommend my family use her. So, and that's kind of my role in terms of everyone I recommend to you, all of you here in my groups and online, is if I wouldn't use them for a family member, I won't recommend them to you guys. And so that's really cool. But I love that you're able to, you don't have to be the same as you. And I like that you pointed out, I love bright colors. I wasn't using them when I saw you.
Yeah, and I think that's so many of my clients are like that. Like, you know, when I actually get down to the nitty gritty, I'm like, what do you want to wear? Like, what's your dream? And they're like, I just never thought to try it, or I just never had the confidence to try it. And I think having me there kind of literally holding your hand, you know, kind of takes that pressure away. And so I talk about comfort zones. So and I think we did this exercise, Sarah, with our first chat. So I'm going to try and draw a picture if that kind of makes sense. But what you've got is you've got three comfort zones, or three zones, right? Comfort zone. Okay, it might be backwards, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so this here, that's your comfort zone, right? So that's all the things that you like. So Sarah, for you, that was black, that was layers, that was loose. My job is to take you into this next zone here. That's called your stretchy zone. So that's just pushing you a little bit outside your boundaries, but not so much into your terror zone that you go, holy shit, I'm never wearing anything else again. Shunk, straight back into your comfort zone. So my job is to push you into this zone here, stretchy zone. But what happens over the years is comfort zone becomes where the stretchy zone was. And then stretchy zone becomes potentially where the terror zone was. So what you think, like really good example, jumpsuits. It's like the number one thing that my clients freak out about, right? I guarantee you every single client I put in a jumpsuit, when we found the right one, they bought it because they're like, I never thought I could wear it. Yeah. Because they haven't bloody tried it. Bane of my existence is people going, I can't wear it, but I've never tried it. I'm like, well, how do you know you can't wear it if you've never tried it? That's a massive assumption to make, right? So trying and finding the right one. So trying one jumpsuit on going, didn't fit me, jumpsuits don't work. Again, massive assumption. So my job is to push you into that stretchy zone with your guidance. So obviously I get all the information first, push you into that stretchy zone. And then what you'll find is you've got a shitload more to wear because you've actually got more options. You haven't just gone, well, I have to wear these three colors and there's two styles. But it just gives you, more flexibility. And that's where you show up. You show up as yourself, as your authentic self in that stretchy zone because it's the stuff that you wanted to wear but never thought you could. So my job is to find that for you in a safe space, because I know that often going into stores can be daunting because you don't know where to start, and sales assistants, some of them can be super helpful and some of them can be not. So my job is to be the buffer between you and the sales assistant as well when we shop. But I'm then armed with all of the information that we've gathered through the wardrobe audit process. So that's that long chat with you, working out your tools, working out your style foundations, going through your wardrobe. So basically the process, I guess, like if you want me to explain the process of what I do, Sarah, that kind of helps.
I think that's a good thing.
Okay. So basically what I do is there's three parts to, I guess, my biggest package. You can actually pick and choose the parts, but ideally the big package works, and I'll explain why. So step one is the wardrobe audit. So basically it's that whole chat about what you need, what you're struggling with, all that kind of thing. Within that wardrobe audit, there are 3 filters that we look at. So we look at the parts of your body that you are the most confident. So I guess the old school label for that would be, what body shape are you? But for me, it's much more of an individual, what parts of your own particular body do you like and are you confident about? Because you could be an hourglass in the old school body shapes, but you don't want to define your waist, and that's completely fine because it's your body and it's your style.
I've never been asked that question. That one was really powerful for me. I've never been asked, what do you like about your body?
Yes, because and voluntarily, most women will give me 10 parts of their bodies that they don't like. And I'm like, cool, don't care. I actually want to know what you like, because it's dressing to highlight is so much more powerful than dressing to hide. And it's one word difference, right? Highlight versus hide. But dressing to highlight, no matter what your shape, size, or age, will make you feel so much more confident than dressing to hide. So we work out your best bits. We work out the colors that you like. So again, it's not so much about old school, are you a summer, autumn, winter, spring, because that can actually be restrictive. And I'm a really good example, okay? So I'm technically in that old school summer, autumn, winter, spring. I'm a winter, as is Sarah. But you will see that my coloring is slightly softer than Sarah's. So Sarah's here is darker and mine's a little bit lighter. And what happens is that I can go as dark as Sarah, or I can go quite kind of light brown, and I actually go along a sliding scale of color then. So when my hair is much lighter, I can't wear that really dominant color that Sarah's wearing. So color is again, it's not fixed. But what we do work out is whether you're a cool tone or a warm tone, and give you kind of a color palette to work within, because it then means all your clothes work together. So we work out your best bits, we work out the colors that you like the most, and then we work out, and this is the most important thing, we work out what your style personality is. So your style personality is basically the foundation of everything else we do. So your style personality is 3 descriptive words. I'm giving you guys a bit of goss for free here. Your style personality is 3 descriptive words that you would use to describe your ideal style. So to give you an example, my style personality is feminine, edgy, and relaxed. So everything I do is a combination of those 3 words. It's using those 3 words to eliminate what's in my wardrobe that doesn't match those words, to buy pieces that match those words, to put outfits together. And that's the big one, is to really, really show up as your authentic self in style. It's actually using your style personality to build looks. So to give you guys an example, so feminine, I've got this beautiful floaty dress on today. Like, it's got tassels and that kind of stuff. Part of it as well is the relaxed nature of it. So I'm a traditional hourglass, but this dress it's not tight around my waist. It's quite floaty. So that's the relaxed element. And the edgy is, I'd probably style it back with like a leather jacket and some cool black boots. So I just put that little twist on it to make it like not to be so girly. So that's my style personality words. And that's just basically then building everything that I wear is a combination of those words. Now, it could be any words. It could be clean, fresh, modern, classic, elegant, sophisticated, elevated, bright, subtle, fresh, like any descriptive words. But it's the combination of the 3 is where the power comes in. So part of the process in that wardrobe audit is to really knuckle down on what those words are. Now, there's 2 words I don't want you to use. One of them is comfortable, because that's a given. Like, I'm not going to make you wear clothes that are not comfortable, right?
It's one of the first things I said to you. I was like, I want to look good, but I want to be comfortable. And I feel like those two aren't the same thing.
Who doesn't want to be comfortable? Like, no one has ever come to me and go, do you know what, Kate? I don't like being comfortable. Like, so can we just skip that bit? Like, duh. Comfort and style are not mutually exclusive, though. I am the biggest advocate of that. Like, seriously, comfort and style are not mutually exclusive. You can absolutely do both. So comfortable is a given. So don't even put comfortable. Smart casual is the other one that keeps appearing in all the words. Kate's like, oh my God, these are my words, awkward. Smart casual. Smart casual for me is a state of dress. What I want you guys to be able to apply these words to is all facets of life. So literally from jammies to undies to activewear to what you're wearing at home to what you wear to work to what you wear to a party to an event. You don't wear smart casual to bed. You don't wear smart casual to a black tie event. So I want your style personality words to be really descriptive. Like, like things like bold, fresh, subtle, clean, boho, eclectic. So descriptive words. Really good way to do it is to look at how you've styled your house. And I was saying to Sarah before we jumped on, for me, doing wardrobe audits in person are actually really interesting because I use it as a secret fact-finding mission, because me seeing your house is actually a really good indication of where you sit, I guess, in terms of like, what color palette you like and what you feel like is a lot of clothes, whether you're minimalist, whether you're a maximalist, all that kind of thing. So I actually I'm watching. There's a lot of stuff going on in my brain that I'm not verbalizing. There's a lot of stuff that I am verbalizing too, but so knowing your house style needs to be the next topic. I can't help you with that, but I'm sure Sarah knows someone that can.
I do.
So yeah, it's really about working out what those words are that reflect you, and it's where you want to be. It's not what you are now. It's where you want to be. And I think Sarah was a brilliant indication of that, because I feel like, and let me just say one of your words, Sarah. Okay, so do you remember your words?
Yeah, strong, feminine, and playful.
Yeah, right. So playful, I feel like was something that was missing from your wardrobe. And I think strong, what strong then translated to for me was both color and form. So strong was about giving you real good angles and really dominant shapes, but also about strong, powerful color as well. So we can translate those words in so many ways. So yeah, so no comfortable and no smart casual, because I want this to be able to basically cover all facets of your life. So we work out your style personality. Then we use those words in a wardrobe audit to basically go through your whole wardrobe. Like, I want it warts and all. So don't feel like you have to clean up your wardrobe before we do a wardrobe audit. Kind of defeats the purpose. But what we then do is we use those words as a filter, right? So there's things in your wardrobe, and like, how many people have got a piece of clothing or several in the wardrobe that have the tag still on them? And it's often because it doesn't match your style personality, right? It doesn't match who you are. And you've kind of bought it because someone else has talked you into it, or you wanted to try something new, but you didn't know how, and you went, oh, I'll just do that. And it just doesn't get worn because it doesn't match who you want to be, but also doesn't match the rest of your clothes. So we're using your style personality. Color is also a big one. Often people have got color in their wardrobes that it's not their perfect colors. So when they're putting it on, they're feeling meh. They put it on, they go, oh, it's okay, but meh. And they can't quite put their finger on what it is. Often it's the color. Color's not right. So we use the filters to get rid of the stuff that doesn't work in your wardrobe. So go through literally every single piece in your wardrobe and we go, yes, we go no, and we go maybe. And maybe are the pieces that potentially are what we call orphans. So they don't have anything else that they work with currently, or you just can't quite let it go yet. So you're not sure about it, but you don't quite want to let it go. So creating those three piles, we're using those filters. What it also then helps me identify is the gaps. So through that process, what I then do is create a shopping list. So if I say to you, and with Sarah, what we found is that she was missing the basics. So she was actually quite good at buying the wow pieces and never wearing them, but they're missing the basics. So often you need a basic piece to then complement the wow and that kind of stuff. So, and good basics are hard to find because we're all told, oh, you need to have a white t-shirt. Oh my God, there are so many white t-shirts out there. And it's about finding the right t-shirt for your shape, your budget, your size, your life needs. Like, can it be chuck in the machine, wash easy, that kind of stuff. So throughout that wardrobe process, I then create a shopping list. And that just means that when we hit the shops, whether that's physically or virtually, it just makes it much more efficient and much more effective. And again, I know so many clients have literally come to me because they have had one too many trips at the shops, just wandering around aimlessly for hours and come home with nothing. Or done the panic buy at the end because they feel like, oh shit, if I don't buy something, this whole day was a waste of time. So my job in the shopping process is then to make it really effective and efficient. So we shop within 2 hours. So Sarah did the bigger package. We shopped for 4, but we actually shopped across 2 days. Because how full on is 2 hours, eh?
Yeah, and in hindsight, like the 2 hours, so shouldn't down south, okay? But the 2 hours, I wish I'd done the 2 hours and then done another 2 hours later,
like 6 months later.
For a change in season and that sort of stuff was probably where it is. But also it was the first time I'd ever been shopping where I hadn't ended up distressed in the shopping centre, in the changing rooms, like, oh God, I hate this. This was awful. Why did I try that on? Doesn't fit. I didn't look at one size label when I shopped with Kate versus normally I constantly looked at it. I just put them on, and if it was too tight, she said put a bigger one on. If it was too big, she gave me a smaller size, and that was super powerful. Like that whole, I very rarely put something on when I shopped with Kate that I went, oh God, I hate it. It was kind of, I love it, or yeah, I do, but I don't think I need any more.
Yeah, and that's the process, right? Is it's really about because I've gotten to know you in that wardrobe process, I know what colors we're looking for. I know what shapes we're looking for. I know what styles we're looking for. It just makes the whole process much more effective. So hopefully the hit rate of things that work is higher, because you then know, and that's what I'm talking about, those filters. And so by learning them yourself, because, through the process, I'm verbalizing a lot of my thought patterns as well. So you can learn from me. You can then in future walk into a store and go, okay, that whole side is not my color palette, so I'm not going to go there. Actually, what I'm looking for now is this cut of pant, or I'm going to try that style of dress and that kind of thing. So the process is as much a learning process. The shop is a learning process for you as much as it is a purchasing process. And the other thing that we do is that when we shop is that we try on all the things and then we put everything we like on hold. So you're not rushing into this like kind of impulse purchase at the end of every store. We put everything on hold, and at the end of the session, we then go back and evaluate and go, actually, this pair of jeans was slightly better than this pair of jeans, and I can see this top working with more pants than this top. And we're thinking about, so every purchase is intentional. One of my big shopping rules is if you cannot think of 3 ways to wear it, don't buy it. And that's one of the big things that we're doing is we're looking at, okay, I've seen your existing wardrobe. How is this piece fitting in? So we've got a really, really clear plan on what we're doing when we shop. And also, like you said, my job is to be the buffer. So I'm just handing you clothes. I have one rule. Try everything on. Try everything on. Even if you go, meh, try it on, because you never know. And I think the thing to remember as well when it comes to size, and I'm so glad you said that, Sarah, there are no standards for sizing in Australia and New Zealand. The last standardized sizing was created in the 50s. That's coming up 70 years ago, guys. Like that, is my math right? Yeah, that's coming up about 65, 70 years ago. That's a long time ago. So, in different stores, literally completely different sizing. I'm a pretty standard size 12, and I would have things in my wardrobe from an extra small, from a 4 to a 16. Depending on the fit, depending on, like, I buy a lot secondhand. So I kind of go, oh yeah, that's a bit big, but I can make it work with a belt or whatever. So I think that don't pay attention to size, get the fit right. Stores size differently. Some stores vanity size, which means they make things bigger. So if you're a standard 12 and you fit into the 10s, you go, ooh, I'm a size 10 in this store. They're playing on your insecurity. And so it's called vanity sizing. It's a thing. So be aware of that. So don't pay attention to size. It's actually got nothing to do with you. And the other thing is, in the change rooms, if something doesn't fit you, it's not personal. It's not about you at all. All it means is that that particular garment has not been made for your amazingly unique and beautiful body shape. And that's fine. Blame the dress. Don't blame the body. Clothes should fit to you. You shouldn't have to fit into clothes. It's really important to remember. So that's where, though, part of what I do is look for clothes with versatility and flexibility in fit. So things that have drape, things that can be tied or tucked or belted or anything that can actually be manipulated to fit your body, is actually much more powerful than looking for something that fits. Okay. I bought 3 pairs of pants in the same store, size 10, 12, and 14. Exactly. Right. Because it literally is about, and sometimes, and I love Max. This is not bagging Max at all, but Max over the past 2 years, they've actually been, they've gone through an ownership change, and they're now associated with Barkers. They're bought out by Barkers. They're using different fabrics. They're using different silhouettes, and their sizing went a bit skewy. So I actually have, and this is even one better, I had the same pair of pants in 2 different sizes, the same cut, but across 2 different seasons, because they had to readjust the sizing because they came out sized really small. So I was having to constantly size up on clients in these pants, and Max worked that out and then sized them down. So, it's really literally same pair of pants, just different colors, 2 different sizes. Jenny, I normally fit a size 16. Last year I bought her an 18. Totally. And that completely depends on the cut of the jean, depends on how much stretch is in them. It depends on how you want them to sit as well. So size is completely and utterly irrelevant. I mean, start somewhere. So if you're normally a 14, maybe start with the 14, but don't stress if you have to go up to a 16, and don't buy it just because you've gone down to a 12. Is the other big thing that's really, really important as well. So that's kind of the process of the shop, and it's really about filling those gaps in your wardrobe so you have a much more cohesive, usable wardrobe. Then the fun bit for me is going back to your house and we actually build all the outfits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you, if you don't mind, Sarah, I'm going to share the outfit book that I created for Sarah. Let me just see if I can move this out of the way. So this is Sarah's style summary. Can you guys see that? So basically, so these are the Sarah style personality words. So again, it's just reaffirming what your style personality words are and why they're really important. Then we talk about color palettes and that kind of thing. But this is the most, for me, what I then do is literally build you outfits. So we put all the pieces, why do you keep going backwards? We put all the pieces together like a jigsaw. And you'll notice in these outfits, there's 4 and then, 5 different outfits using the same pants. So we're actually building different combinations of them. So it just gives you a really kind of good, basically like a guidebook to what you should be wearing in your wardrobe. And it just, they're the pants. So those pants there are the ones from Max that I own in a 16 and a 12. And they still fit the same, right? And that was because Max, and they stuffed up the sizing at the start. And so they've readjusted it. But, for Sarah, who have got those pops of pink, so that's kind of her bold. Those pants are really bold, strong, feminine cut. So all those pieces, and it was just building all those different outfits. So for me, that's the really fun bit. That's the bit that I love, is basically giving you all the options. In about an hour, on average, I would create 70 different outfits, 70. And that comes from literally, it might just be switching out a pair of shoes or a jacket, but that gives you 2 outfits. Having 2 different pairs of shoes dramatically will change things. You can put a heel with one look. You can put a trainer with the same look, and it's completely different. Miller likes pink shoes, aren't he, Sarah? Cute. Who doesn't like pink heels? I mean, come on.
No, exactly. But I literally have it printed out and laminated, and it hangs on my wardrobe. I don't get dressed without it anymore. And Scarlett's always saying, is that a Kate outfit? And I think, no, it's always a Kate outfit, Scarlett, always.
Yeah. But part of the process as well is when we're doing it together, you kind of come to the party. It's funny, people, once they see what I'm doing, they're like, oh, how about this with that? And how about this with that? And it kind of, oh, hi. Sorry, tiny human. Oh, no, she's a nappy change. I'm in the baby's room, just by the way. That's why she's coming in for nappy change. That process, another tiny human. That process of putting those outfits together then means that you can then, exactly like you do, Sarah, go back and refer to that, and you take the pain point away. So
Yeah.
rather than spending all that time stressing in the morning about what on earth am I going to wear today, you literally just refer to the book. I've had clients, I love this, who've created spreadsheets based off it and planned their whole week of outfits based on the lookbook, which I think is brilliant, because I'm very much a how am I feeling today? Get up and reflect that. But the beauty of that lookbook is you can use it either way. So you can just kind of flick through and go, oh, that jumps out at me today. Or you can be really, really planned and actually plan your whole outfits for the week as well, which just got all three tiny humans in here now.
But that's okay.
Yeah, so you can actually plan your outfits throughout the week if you want to as well. So that for me is the most powerful tool. And what you'll find is your confidence will then grow. You will then go, actually, I'm going to go off road here and create a new outfit and that kind of stuff. But what we're doing intentionally with all those outfits is going back to those 3 descriptive words, and we're building all those looks based on your style personality, which basically means you can get up and get dressed and feel like your true self every day, regardless of what the occasion is, whether it's just, working from home, whether it's going to a really important meeting, whether it's seeing clients, all that kind of stuff. You've got that kind of framework there to use and to build on.
Yeah, and I love that. It was really interesting. So I saw my business coach a couple of weeks back, and he's like, God, Sarah, you have shed so much imposter syndrome in the last 12 to 18 months. And I think an element of that has come from, obviously he knows me really well because he's been coaching me for quite a few years, is that I externally represent who I am internally, which has made a massive difference in how I show up and my confidence and how much I'm willing to share. And for me, it's really come down to I make a much bigger impact. I can help way more people this way.
That's exactly it. I think if you're not stressing about, am I wearing the right thing? What do I look like? Are my pants too tight? My heels are uncomfortable because I feel like I have to wear heels because I'm a woman in business. Dude, I live in trainers. Like, I've got lots of pretty heels and they just sit there and look pretty. I live in trainers. And I think that once you take that, like, again, that pain point away of the stress of other people's expectations as well, like X, Y expect me to look like this because I run a business. If you show up looking like you and your true self, you are going to be comfortable and relaxed and confident and actually not even think about what you're wearing and just get on with doing the job that you're good at. And that's my aim. I have so many teachers as clients. It seems to be like the number one profession of my clients are teachers. And again, it's giving teachers comfortable, fun, outfits that are elevated. So elevated is a word I use a lot. So my little tagline is elevate your everyday style. And it might just be one little thing. So it might be wearing a structured jacket rather than a cardigan. It might be wearing a leather trainer rather than a canvas trainer. But just one thing that elevates your style has such an impact and makes such a difference in your confidence. So if I can give you the tools to look good and feel confident and then not worry about it, so you can get on being the best version of you, that's what I want. That's like the gold star.
Yeah, which is awesome. And I didn't say at the beginning, we just jumped right into it. But if you've got any questions or comments, you want to chat to Kate, just jump in, because we'll keep talking, the two of us. We'll just keep going. Yeah. So if you've got questions or you want to ask Kate anything, unmute yourself, put your hand up. I am watching where I'm live in Facebook as well. So if you're in Facebook and not here in the Zoom room with us, just pop your question in the comments and I'll ask it to Kate for you. Yeah, so has anyone got any questions? We've gone through lots of stuff, which is awesome. Oh, very quiet.
Do you know what? It's so funny when I do workshops and things, I always ask if there's any questions at the end and no one wants to kind of say it out loud. Then everyone comes to me after and goes, yeah. Hey, also, there is no stupid question. There is no stupid question. And if it feels a bit more personal, I guarantee you 4 other people are thinking the same thing as well. So don't be shy. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. That kind of thing as well.
It looks like she's got a question.
Well, it's not really a question, but a lot of what you said resonated with me because I wear a lot of, it's comfortable clothes. And I kind of have my own rules. It's pretty much like jeans and a t-shirt. And then in summer I wear jeans and a merino because I live in Christchurch and it's freaking cold down here. Rob's just lit the fire, I think, and a t-shirt over the top. But I see women wearing more sort of like, I really love the 50s look.
Yeah.
But I've gone right away from skirts. Sorry, I'm feeling a bit emotional today. It's just everything with lockdowns catching up a bit. But as I've got older, chub rub happens. And so, I've stopped wearing skirts and dresses because
It's uncomfortable.
it's not comfortable anymore.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't really a question. I just really wanted to say that, I think my thing is that I really just do struggle with what is my personal style, and because I see things I like on other people and I want to look like that, but I don't know how to
reconcile it in your brain.
Reconcile it. I'm comfortable with the colours generally that I wear, although I would kind of like to maybe move out a little bit more. I tend to be red, navy blue or blue, black charcoal, and that's pretty much it. But I am just really, and one of my goals this year is just to, thanks Jenny, is to have be more stylish. Have a wardrobe that suits me and my lifestyle better. Particularly because I've elevated my business now, and I've gone from 1 centre to 3 centres, and so I just really do feel like I need to. And Sarah tells me off wearing hoodies all the time. But particularly sitting at home, they are comfortable. But I wore a good t-shirt today, Sarah, not one of
I noticed. I noticed. Yeah, and we should also acknowledge that she bought those 2 businesses and settled on them during lockdown. Like, can you think of a worse time to try and settle on a couple of businesses? You're a rock star.
Well done, Kate. Hey, look, I think it's really that's really special what you've said, and I think there's definitely ways to translate that style that you like to your lifestyle and to your body shape and that kind of thing. I think that's my job, is to listen to where you want to be, and like you said, exactly what we've kind of talked about, and actually make it appropriate for your life. And it's funny because people default to jeans, right? Oh my God, I don't wear jeans in lockdown. I wear everything else, but I don't find jeans particularly comfortable. Like, I think that there are so many other options, but it just becomes our default, I think, for a lot of women. So there are definitely and actually that gives me a really good idea of like doing a little challenge on like how to wear 5 other things that aren't jeans, but I think it's having those, expanding your repertoire is kind of it. And I completely understand the weather element as well. Like, obviously dressing for Christchurch is very different from dressing for Auckland. But also I'm from Brisbane. So dressing for Auckland for me was a shift as well. So I think that, again, don't be scared that because I'm in Auckland and I'm a Queenslander, that I can't help you in Christchurch as well. So I think I completely acknowledge that that's an issue, but there are definitely heaps of things as well. And even things like, you can get so many amazing merino camisoles, merino slip dresses. You can actually buy little bike shorts that kind of alleviate chub rub, all that kind of stuff. There are definitely things that you can do to get that style that you want, and have it reflect you in a way that works, rather than having to just kind of go full on 50s, if that makes sense as well. So yeah. Thanks for sharing that with us, Kate, as well. I think that's really
thank you. My TV's just put itself on all by itself, so I'm going to mute and go and deal with that. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, Jenny, same thing. Jeans. I tend to only wear jeans at the moment, and I think that, again, it's this really weird thing where for me, jeans are my least comfortable thing to wear. There are so many other things that you can wear, and I think that people often save dresses for good. I mean, I'm going to try and show you guys what I'm wearing. Excuse the washing in the background in the baby's room, but I'm just going to like, I'm wearing a big floaty dress. Like, it's way more comfortable than jeans. I mean, and the reality is I have a 7-month-old who breastfeeds still 6 times a day, so I wouldn't be wearing this all day. And yes, I've got bare feet, but if I was out in public, I'd probably have a merino slip underneath and some boots and a jacket. But this, to me, is way more comfy than jeans. So there are definitely other options. Like I said, jeans just seem to be the default. And I think that because they've just gone down the legging the jigging kind of track as well. There's way more lycra in jeans nowadays. They just become the default, but there are so many other styles that you can do to reflect. But do you know what? If jeans are your style, then totally rock it as well. But I think, yeah, they just become the default, which is really interesting because there's so many other cool clothes that you can wear.
Did I see you, Ruth, lean forward before? Did you have a question?
Yeah. Well, two things. One thing that I thought was mildly amusing was my 13-year-old's doing his schoolwork in the background. And he leaned over just before and he said to me, "Mum, I never realised women worried so much about clothes."
Oh, bless him.
I said, "Take note, my dear. File it away. You will have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, a girlfriend one day probably, and you will have to remember this."
And potentially daughters as well.
Yeah. So anyway, the second thing, which is more relevant, I'm very much, I don't do the new clothes shop, partly because walk into a shop with millions of clothes and there's too many options and walk out again, but also because I'd actually prefer just to do the secondhand thing and not be contributing to the huge
fast fashion
realm. Fast fashion stuff.
Yep.
I guess the thing that I would ask is, because I noted you said you bought your clothes secondhand a lot, how do you be intentional about buying pieces when you're secondhand shopping and it's much more serendipitous as to what's there?
Yeah, so you can't walk into a shop and there's 6 different styles of black pants all in your size available. Yeah. I think it's being really true to your style personality and using those filters exactly the same. So using those filters, using your best bits, your color palette and your style personality. But also for me, op shopping is an experience. Like it's a thrill of the chase. Like I love that. And so what you would then do potentially is not have as set shopping list. So you're still using your filters, but you're actually a little bit more relaxed in terms of your shopping list. So you might, and that's where it's almost a matter of if you see anything that floats your boat, you try it on. But if you're working to those filters, i.e., it's still all going to work together with your existing wardrobe. And I think that also comes back down to, I'm 100% in agreement with you, and it sounds counterintuitive being a stylist who shops with people, but I am super conscious about, you'll notice I've never used the word fashion. For me, it's all, and I don't focus on trends. It's very much about your personal style. And it might be then, so when we do shop, it's really intentional. So actually it might be hard, for instance, to find a really good white t-shirt secondhand. So that might be something you might go and purchase new, but my job is to help you find the best version of that. So it actually you get longevity out of it and it works with everything. So a big thing for me is cost per wear. So it's actually looking at, and a really good example of that, when I moved to New Zealand almost 10 years ago, as I'm from Queensland, we don't wear boots in Queensland. You wear sandals all year round. I bought crappy quality Ruby shoes, like cotton on boots, and literally wore through them in 3 months. Over one winter, I wore through 3 pairs of $50 boots. I've now got leather boots that are probably 10 years old because I then invested in a quality product that would then actually stand the test of time and last longer. So it's about picking and choosing where you're investing your money. And I think, the trick with secondhand, but also I buy a lot of secondhand from buy sell pages for brands that I specifically love. So that you've got a bit more scope, I guess, into like, okay, well, I really love this brand, therefore I'm going to then buy my secondhand pieces from there. And then you're kind of a bit more intentional as to those purchases. But yeah, I think that it's more about still using all your filters, but not being so stuck on the shopping list, or have a revolving shopping list. So have a shopping list on your phone. Like, you're on the look for a cream blazer, a pair of boyfriend jeans, and then you just literally check it every time you're going into a secondhand store and that kind of stuff. A great resource for secondhand shopping as well is an online website called Recycle Style. So recyclestyle.co.nz. It's where I get a lot of my clients to send their clothes. Bye, Jenny. I get a lot of my clients to send their clothes there in the no pile clothes. And because again, for me, I'm all about reusing. So I think if you can't get use out of it, put it somewhere where someone can. So Recycle Style is a great website. She also does, it's like a consignment store. So she sells on your behalf. So you get a little bit of cash back as well, which is quite good. But I mean, I bought the most stunning Trelise Cooper trench coat from there. That was one of my unicorns. Like I had looked at it full price firsthand and it was like $700. I'm like, never going to happen. 2 seasons later, I ended up getting my hands on it for like $250. And I don't care that it's 2 seasons old because it's bloody spectacular and I'm going to wear it, no shit, for the next 15 years. So, you know, again, if you're true to your personal style, trends and seasons and stuff don't matter. So secondhand purchasing can actually be really powerful and that kind of stuff as well. But so Recycle Style, Sarah's just put the link there. But yeah, Facebook buy and sell groups. So there's particular brands that you love. Go and have a look for a buy and sell group on Facebook for those as well. I've got heaps from a beautiful brand in Aussie called Bohemian Traders. Actually, this dress is Bohemian Traders. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of buy and sell groups and that kind of thing as well.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that was part of our shopping too, right? That you did that you were really deliberate about that when we went shopping together. So I thought that was really because I don't shop everything secondhand, obviously, but certainly there's that awareness of what's happening to it afterwards, you know, and so yeah, Recycle Style is great. And I think the other one, an amazing charity called Everlasting. They're based in Auckland, but they can send them your clothes from anywhere in New Zealand, and they have a free arrangement with NZ Post. So basically you just box it up and I think you can go onto their website and print off a label, and they have clothing sales here in Auckland. Everything is $5, but they also then donate a lot of stuff to like Women's Refuge, and they have groups of women come in who are struggling to afford fashion and that kind of stuff. And Anna used to be a stylist who runs Everlasting, and again she was like, holy shit, what's going on with all the stuff that I'm getting rid of. So she actually created Everlasting and that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I think Kate, I don't know, closed nurse Maud, hospice shops, perfect. I think where you have to be, clothing bins are tricky because you don't know where they go, and like that's the worry with clothing bins. So if you have other avenues that you can look at, and again, it depends on the clothes and stuff, but I love Recycle Style because I get money back basically. So it's useful in that sense too. But yeah, I love it. I love a good secondhand shop. But I think it's injecting your wardrobe, and price range is the other thing, right? So I have pieces from Kmart to Trelise Cooper in my wardrobe, but there are definitely pieces you don't have to have a lot of money. And that's something that Sarah and I have talked about, was that the idea that she had, the belief she had before working with me, that you can only work with a stylist when you're rich and famous. I worked to any budget. I worked with any body shape, lifestyle, style, personality, age, that kind of thing. But I think that my wardrobe is, and I'm kind of really proud of the mix that's in my wardrobe in terms of secondhand, new, quality pieces. And the other thing is, don't be put off. There's a perception that cheap and cheerful is nasty, and there's a perception that expensive designer is ethical and sustainable, and that's a smokescreen. There's a really I think it's the Tier Fund ethical fashion report. It's really important. There are a lot of big brands working really hard to make their whole process much more sustainable and ethical, and there are big designers that aren't. So don't use a price point as an indication or as a leveler of what's sustainable and what's ethical as well. I love New Zealand made. I love Australian. I love, again, my wardrobe is a mix. So I think that there's definitely parameters that you can set yourself, but you don't have to have, Dress for Success, where I 100% love Dress for Success. We can shop at Kmart and we can shop at Trelise Cooper. It's completely up to you. And I think, Sarah, we went to H&M and we went to Augustine. There's definitely a range that we can shop at. I tend to shop in malls with clients just purely because it's all in the same
space. And in terms of the time that we have, it makes it efficient. But I have literally, definitely, Ruth, I've had clients who have gone 100% secondhand. And I actually ran a couple of secondhand shopping tours in 2019, I think. So we literally went, a group of 6 of us, and we went around to 3 different secondhand shops as well and shopped there. So there's definitely a skill to it. It's definitely, like I said, you can't just walk in and go, cool, there are 12 different styles of black pants, all available in my size. But so to work with me, you don't have to have huge budgets. You don't need to kind of know what you're doing already. That's my job, to help you kind of fit into everything.
Yeah. Does anyone else? And I would say, so my clients that work with me, going back to that identity piece, your business owner's identity piece, this is part of that. Like, how do you show up externally when you're internally being who you need to be to grow your business? And this is that outward reflection of that. Like I talk about where you spend your money and your time, particularly your time. Your calendar is a reflection of who you are, and so is, I've learned, so is my style, so is how I show up and I present myself appearance wise. That is a reflection of who I am on the inside. So
I think the realities of our world is we are a visual world, and that's not about judgment. So I don't think it's about judging others. I think it's about acknowledging the fact that we are a visual world, and people will build that into a perception of you as actually what you look like is part of a perception people are creating. It's like a walking business card. You know, you don't walk around with your qualifications and your expertise stamped on your head. You walk around wearing clothes. So the reality is, people are going to look at that and make an assumption about you. So if you can actually be who you actually are, then it takes that assumption out of the piece. Does that make sense?
And when you feel good about what you wear, as I've been saying this all through lockdown, people are like, I'm just working in my jammies, or I've got my tracksuit pants on. I'm like, get up and get dressed for work. If you're going to work.
I think that's the key. It's like, and it's funny because I've had days literally where I haven't got out of my jammies. But again, I have 3 children under 5. So life's a little bit hectic in lockdown. But when I want to do work, it's like, okay, mummy's getting dressed, mummy's doing her hair, and it just makes life because I go into work mode.
Yeah, and it sets that boundaries, right? Because we all wear those different hats. And I always talk, I'm not wearing them now because they make a lot of noise on the live, but I talk about my bracelets often. Like when I'm at work, I'm wearing my bracelets. When I'm not at work, I'm not wearing my bracelets. And Scarlett and Johnny know that as a visual cue of work Sarah versus mum and wife Sarah, 2 different personas, I guess, that I present, more 2 different hats that I wear, and that I show up slightly differently in those roles.
Yeah, I guess the other thing as well is like literally when I come home from work, I am straight into the comfy clothes. Like that's don't feel like, oh my God, Kate struts around in pretty dresses and high heels all day. But my comfy clothes are still a reflection of me. So they're still pink and they're still fun and they're still like, I would have no qualms, actually I often do, going and doing daycare pickup in my comfy clothes because they're still a reflection of my personal style, and I think that there is that element of I'm not expecting anybody else to do things that I wouldn't do. Like I'm a mom, I'm a person, I spill shit, I hate ironing, so everything I'm asking you guys to do is the same thing that I would do.
Awesome. So I want to be respectful of Kate's time because I know that she's got the 3 little people in the background. And I can imagine at some point someone's going to require a feed because we've been chatting for a little while now. So does anyone have any last minute questions? And then we'll wrap this up. I've dropped some links. So I've dropped Kate's link. So she does all of this, what we've talked about. You can even do it while you're in lockdown, which I think is kind of cool because it's kind of a cool use of time. And I had a client just this week, Tuesday. This week, do a virtual styling and just came off a buzzing, her energy. She just felt so good about herself having gone through the process. And so there she is, Kirsty, me, and it was amazing. Yay. So I've dropped the link there. She's got a number of different options. It's super affordable. I literally think Kate's saved me money rather than helped me spend money, because I would have gone and shopped so many times desperately looking for something to wear to present at that event or go to that thing. And I just don't do that anymore. It's already in my wardrobe.
And the beauty is as well, we can now follow up. So because I now
Yeah.
know Sarah's wardrobe, I know what she needs, I know her style personality, I know her body shape, we can shop really easily either online or in person when she comes down to Auckland, and it just makes that process now easier. She can basically just top up where she needs to as well.
Yeah, or where she's ruined stuff, put holes in it, stained it, lost it, potentially. Awesome. So I've dropped those links. I've dropped the links that Kate's talked about as well. So if you want to reach out. So anyone else? I see my baby sister sort of constantly doing this, but I'm not sure if she's actually wanting to ask a question or she's just chewing her fingernail.
And any questions you guys have afterwards, by all means, come over to Facebook or Instagram or email me the questions and say, hey, I was on Sarah's live, blah, 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 blah. And the other thing to look out to is I've just finished September 1st. If you guys like the idea of the mixing and matching lookbooks and you want to do it yourself, I actually have little ebooks that teach you how to do it yourself. And the spring summer one's dropping the 1st of September. So that's coming very, very soon. And basically it's a roadmap of how to create, I think there's 81 outfits in it using 24 pieces of clothing. And that's generic clothing. So basically where I say use a jacket, you could use 16 jackets that you've got and you could make way more outfits. So if the idea of like a big one-on-one package with me seems overwhelming, you can absolutely like start with the ebooks and that kind of stuff and kind of get an idea for how I work. And then if you go, no, I still need help, then you can jump on and get some help as well.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. It's been nice to see you.
I know.
Because I think last time I saw you was kind of this time. No, we've seen you since then because we came with Johnny and went shopping with Johnny.
You did.
Yeah.
You came with Johnny on my 40th birthday.
That's right, on your birthday. Yeah. And then I didn't find that out until the end of the day. I was like, what are you doing shopping with us on your 40th? Like, that's not okay.
I was also 8 months pregnant, so I wasn't doing much else.
Yes, well, you were also 8 months pregnant, yeah. So if anybody has any questions for Kate, reach out. She's got a Facebook group. I will drop those links on the stream of this. I'll drop the Facebook group. I'll drop Kate's Instagram, and I'll drop your Facebook page over there. And I think those ebooks are on your website, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. So I'll drop that link for everyone as well, so you've got access to it. But thank you so much for coming along. I literally saved so much time, saved so much money, and really helped me with that psychological part of showing up and being really confident.
Yeah,
so
just have fun with your style. That's the most important thing. Just have fun with it. Don't let it stress you. And if it stresses you, come talk to me.
Yeah, awesome. Love it. All right, team. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to some of you very soon. But see you. Bye.
Bye.